Rahubat.
Hey, Rahubat, how you doing? Glad
I'm
to hear
well,
your
and
tone.
yourself?
Oh, I'm doing okay. I just want to get y'all to heaven as fast as I can. Things are really heating up. You know, you can look at the news
I'm all
and
for
a lot
that.
of different things. Yeah.
Yes.
Now they're trying to create a situation where they starve over 22 million Africans that they confess to at least. But that was all part of their global plan. You know, with Joe Biden giving the nod to Putin to go into Ukraine, knowing that was the breadbasket of the planet as far as wheat. They grow enough wheat alone to feed over 400 million people, and they get the poorer countries purchase that wheat from Ukraine, like Africa. You follow?
Right.
And you know what I think is just amazing in Africa, with the richest fertile soil on the planet. It's so fertile they can grow rocks, but they starving.
Right.
You don't send something. So what is that? They have. I'll give you an example. In Hawaii, right? It's a very fertile because of that lava rock. It's very fertile soil. But the Hawaiian people will tell you that the United States stole that island from them and just let them stay there so that they could service people when they come, like tourism. Dance for them, serve them, you know, just they get nothing in return, you know, that type of thing. But you'll be surprised to know that the way Hawaii gets their food is they have to import it. They have to buy food from the States and import it. With that fertile volcanic soil. It's like Africa. You can grow rocks, but they ain't got nothing.
Right.
That, you know, that's some deep stuff right there.
It is.
How do you create a starvation situation in the most abundant continent on earth, like Africa? You can't stop stuff from growing all over the place, but they cut down trees, just like Soweto in the ghetto. A lot of people don't know that they cut down trees. They had a massive project to cut trees and chase out, burn down stuff, scorch earth, and run all the animals out for up to 140 miles around Soweto, around the ghetto, and then people didn't have modern transportation to get any, you know what I mean? So in other words, they had them people stuck on kind of an island of dirt, you know what I'm saying?
And having to come to them for everything.
Yeah, so they're so far away, they couldn't walk like they do normally for millions of years, you know, follow me? So that they had to wait for the rice trucks coming in. Of course, every time they brought a load in, they brought a bunch of Bibles with it too, you know, so.
Right.
Yeah, so they was brainwashing niggas and programming to be draconians and disrespect one another and all that, you know. It's cold-blooded what the devil was doing. But, all right, who has that first spiritual experience they'd like to share with us? Yeah. Okay, that first question, I know you... Okay, go ahead.
I have one.
All right, I'll do my best.
No, experience.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Go ahead, share with us.
No, Friday I was outside reading something spiritual, real spiritual. I could hear the insects started to get loud. Like real,
yeah. Tell us about it.
Nothing, they just got louder while I was reading, and it kind of got...
I follow you. I know. And if people can remember, I shared an experience with you all while I was sitting on the steps of the store that was opening the right stuff. And I was reading the book, The Wisdom of Tahuti. And I started reading into the quantum physics so deep I was patting my feet and rocking with it. Daytime. 1 second. Okay, let me hang up you all and call back in, please.
Rob back to Brother Walter.
That.
Yes. Rahubat, Walt. Okay, you all, hold on one second. Let me open this other room.
Yep.
All right. Now we need 60 phones. Now, in regards to what you shared with us, Patah, about you reading the book and the insects getting loud, if you all will recall, I was telling you that I had a similar experience years ago sitting on the steps of the Right Stuff store. On his property in the daytime, I was reading the Wisdom of Tahuti, and it was quantum physics, and it was getting so good, I was rocking back and forth, patting my feet. In the daytime, reading the book, I had established a kind of cadence with it, and the insects started getting louder and louder and louder, till they got louder than the trucks and cars passing by on the highway right next to me. I couldn't hear anything because of the insects. That's right. That's nature. That's what it is. And it's a derivative of the word natiru, nature. When you start tapping into the oneness, then you become one with all, and there are visible signs. When you start really getting in tune with the oneness. For example, one way you really know is that when you raise your vibrations up so high, you can taste a sweet substance coming down between your teeth, dripping out of your gums. Real sweet substance. And you become so hypersensitive, you can hear ants walk. Literally hear ants walk. Boom, 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 like that. So these are obvious signs when you get like that. Or you can see all the fauna, the trees and flowers and grass, everything around you that's alive, just develop a big, bright blue aura. You know? So there are signs. And you start linking with other people. When you start raising up your vibrations, you start recognizing that you start finishing sentences for people because you know what they're thinking and after a while it becomes so normal. You don't do it because you don't want to be intrusive or invasive or rude, you know, but you just think to yourself, like all of you have had this experience, you're in the house and it's crowded and the lights on in the living room, and a lot of friends and family might be over there talking and having conversation. You go back to the kitchen to get something, you come back into that bright room, and they're all talking. And you walk through a porthole or something, where you look around at all the people, and it's like you heard that, you've been there before, heard that conversation before, you know what everybody's going to say next and everything, but you stand there just kind of paralyzed. You don't say anything because you know the nature of our people. As soon as you try to explain that to them, they're going to try to change everything up because they don't want to, acknowledge that that's going on with you, even though they've probably experienced something similar to that themselves. You follow? But yes, I'm glad that happened to you, Patah. Really, I am, and that's a good indicator that you shifted, right?
Yep.
So who else has had a spiritual experience they'd like to share with us?
I do.
Very good.
Earlier today, I was having a conversation with my sister, and it wasn't anything in particular that, I don't know, sparked it, but all of a sudden I just felt really warm, and I felt at peace. All of a sudden it just came over me, and it almost brought me to tears. I just felt so good, and I was sharing that with my sister. I was like, I don't know what just happened. I said, but I am so full of joy. I said, I can't explain it. I couldn't even put it in words to her. And the tears started coming. I'm like, I can't explain it. And she kept saying, well, I don't know how you can be happy and this is happening and that's happened. I said, that's the whole point of it, that you can be such on a vibration that you can't be reached. I said, that's what
in the world, but not
whole
of it.
thing is. Yes, I said that's what it's all about. But she still
you were making the
couldn't
shift.
get it.
That's right. And you felt that bliss, and all of us have felt that in different ways, inadvertently through life. Another thing people feel is they feel like they're in the zone. I don't care if you're shooting pool; it's just like you can't miss a shot. Whatever, you feel like you got everything ace. You already know you can't. It doesn't happen frequently. But everybody's had that at least once in life where they just felt like they couldn't do anything wrong. They just knew it was more than confidence. It was something else. It's like something else that kicked in, another aspect of their being that they weren't really personalized or familiar with, but they knew that they couldn't miss. Exactly. They kept shooting the basket and the hoop over and over again, or they kept whatever they were doing. They had it. They had that feel. They were in that groove right then.
Some used to say it was the Midas touch. I got the Midas touch.
Let them know, Lucas.
I was saying that I experienced something like that about half an hour ago, right before I came into the class. I had a lot of junk on the bed, and usually when I throw something over in the trash can, if there's more than one piece of something, I'll miss and it'll fall on the floor. And it was about maybe 8 or 9 pieces of something that I didn't want. And every last thing that I threw at the trash can went and nothing fell on the floor.
That's it.
I'm like, wow, what's going on here?
That's it. That's the zone. And I'll tell you something that's most obvious. Mute your phone. Please. Is that when you all are moving stars, you're in that zone right then. You're up in the new heaven and the new earth right then. And so it's no question that we can get there. The thing is that people have to learn how to maintain and hold that vibrational height. Right? Okay. Now, anybody else have another spiritual experience before we go on to the next level here? Or a question? Because about in regards to 5D and what in regards to 5D, shifting to 5D, I just want to bring it to everybody's memory that that's not the highest plane, or it's not a definitive thing. That it's not like you can't go to 9D. It depends on the individual, right? Okay. Now here's a question I'd like to ask. Will you be going to the new heaven and the new earth?
Yes.
All right, and that's the best answer, the only answer. What does that even mean? How is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? How do we know if we're going to the new earth? And are those not going to die? What happens to them? We're going to explain some things from a scientific viewpoint. But what we know is just really scratching the surface to tell you not only how you can go to a new earth, but that you can start today to shift into it and start to experience some amazing things that are happening. Right now, everyone has access to this. Everyone has access to this. Are you ready? If so, let's get started. Hold on. I'm going to help you break through the barrier and live an amazing, awesome life. Are you really ready to do this? All right. We talked about science and the Schumann resonance. I need people like my new spiritual son, not new, but he's back, and I'm so proud. Walter, if you all can look up the Schumann resonance, SHUMAN, and then read a little bit, if you would, Walt, about the Schumann experience in the class. The Schumann resonance, rather. The Schumann resonance is the documented frequency of the planet. This is science. The frequency of the planet is almost double what it has been in the past. It has reached an historic all-time high frequency. What is a higher frequency? Within a higher frequency, anxiety, depression, illness, all disappear because there's no imbalance in a higher frequency. A lower frequency is density, solid, actual, and time-bound, carnal, physical, shade thing, clay thing. Scientists have proven that those humans below 7.8 hertz, frequency, which is where we want to be or above, below that we have symptoms of depression. So what happens is if you're around people or things that keep your vibrations low, you're going to start feeling illness and sickness and many forms of depression and hell in your life because they have spiritual things that walk into them to keep your vibrations low. You ever been around people like when Khadijah was here? Every morning that I saw her, I would say, "Good morning. How are you doing? How you feel this morning?" Why do you keep asking me? Why are you worried about how I feel? Just going on. Every time you saw her, in the first 5 seconds of looking at her, your vibrations would plummet. No matter how happy or high you were and good you felt, she was just a professional at creating some negative energy real fast. Okay, please mute your phone. Anxiety, fear, and illness. This is all real stuff. Frequency counts. Now we know when you have a low frequency, you become ill. That's right. When you start feeling yourself sick, then there's something pulling down your vibrations. Your DNA literally, and this is scientific studies that have proven this, your DNA literally gives up, all right? When you're going to high frequency, which is joy, love, peace, all these beautiful feelings, your actual frequency raises. You have an electromagnetic field. Everything does. Actually, you have a field of radiation. It goes up. It opens up, just like your DNA does. Remember I told you all that the atoms in your system, they're not solid. They're just low vibrating forms of trace energy and 98% empty space. But when you think on a higher frequency, a spiritual frequency, even that unfolds, farasa, like the wings of a butterfly. It unfolds into spiritual, and it's not even trace density, right? There's no density, but not even trace energy. It unfolds into ether. Then you can walk through walls, etc. Can't be shot by a bullet, can't be hungry, can't age, can't die. You can't be made sad or any of these things. Boom, 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 boom. Can't touch this. Everything does. Actually, you have a field of radiation. It goes up. It opens up just like your DNA does. And the beauty is, you affect other people's DNA. This is what's happening on the planet. So we're working as the 144,000 to raise the frequency of everybody else on earth. We're trying to bring them up to heaven. While the devil Trump is constantly working to do what to your frequency? They're working to depress you, to bring it down, to make you feel anxiety and fear, or make you feel small and insecure, make you think they're going to cut off, finances, or they're going to give you a disease, or they're gonna that it's always you gotta walk out for the monkeypox or this or that or the other, right? And the black devils that come into your life, those are the worst ones. You follow me? Those are the ugliest ones. The boogers with feet, I call them, right? The frequency is going up, not just on its own. These creatures actually work to block the truth and keep the light, blind the light, and keep you, they can make you so sick you can actually die. Really, they can. Okay, if you give power, and if you just got to shut them up and run them off. Okay, we're doing it. Now, Earth herself, she's evolving too, right? She's alive, beautiful entity, energy, and as is everything, heard and beyond, here and beyond, we are contributing to the higher frequency. We are contributing, and the beauty of that is to be constantly reminded that when you lead people to heaven, who gets there first? Or would that these devils can understand and trying to lead people to hell, where are they going to end up first? They can't understand that, see? Or it's just their natural habitat. It's like washing a dog or a pig. As soon as you get through it, run straight for the mud to roll in, right? They don't want that. They feel comfortable, dirty and evil and loud and ignorant. Try to make you feel insecure, small, until they just look for ways to just keep poking. You can never relax. You got to keep defending yourself all the time against this evil thing. Okay, we are contributing to all the higher frequency. The planet, that means we're raising our frequency. That means we're awakening. It's really happening. It's like you said, Keith, when you keep trying to do things good for people over and over again, and they don't appreciate that, even though they grin and smile, but their actions tell you that they really are working against you to pull you down, you see? That's right. And and that's really sad. But the name of that is called Satan the devil, okay? Frequency, that means we're awakening. It's really happening. We're doing it. And we're doing it on other planets within the solar system. They already have, many of them have also shifted into a different frequency. And it's definitely directly affecting us because it's called quantum entanglement, right? So here's what's happening. If you have some of these symptoms, and maybe you don't concern yourself. There's no right or wrong way to this. Many people are experiencing some bizarre feelings, right? Physically. Because it is real. The frequency of the planet, the solar system, the sun, are all affecting us physically. DNA is changing. That's a fact. It is absolutely changing, star movers. All that space of DNA you call junk DNA that we don't use, it's there for a reason. It's going to kick in at some point, and it's happening. Same thing goes with our brain. Why do you have all of this, and we only use a fraction of it? You're only using 5% of your brain on average. 95% of it is just latent. Because it's there for when we're ready to use it. And this is equipment that you can start using. That is pretty darn amazing, isn't it? How do you access all of this? And what is the new Earth? Okay, so we know that multiple dimensions exist. I'll give you an example. When a third-dimensional planet, that means that when we see things, then that's what we think we are. When you're actually just a spiritual being projecting a physical experience. And you're not what you think you are and what you see. For example, if you all remember, if you see a red truck, what color is the truck in truth? No, it's not necessarily. See, whatever color the truck reflects, that's the color that it's not. Because the surface material is reflecting that color. You follow? If it's reflecting red, whatever color it is, It's definitely not red, okay? And if you see people sitting in front of you in a movie theater or a church, you don't see them. What you see is the light. You know, you don't see the actual person. There's no person there. Okay. Okay, what we think we are. When you go to a fourth dimension, a fifth and beyond, you're not tapping into the unseen of which really flows through the supposed material world. Nothing's really solid. You know, you can't see through solid, so what's an X-ray? Okay, Walter, what do you got on the Schumann resonance that you can read to us?
You sent me that in the email, right?
No, I asked you to Google it. Schumann, S-H-U-M-A-N resonance.
Schumann resonance. Oh.
Okay. Let me read on a little bit, and then you can. Okay, it's the lowest. You found it already?
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay, it's the lowest density frequency that allows it to be material. This is why you leave your body. Okay, that's you, and that's all of us. But you really have some powerful OBE experiences. And about the Schumann resonance, I just want to bring everybody up to speed in case you're new here. It's the resonance or the vibrational frequency of the planet Earth. Now, in recent years, very recent years, since 2013 to 12, it has doubled in frequency. In other words, it was around 3.6. Now it's up. It's up exceptionally high. It's doubled, right? Now, the reason you don't really notice it is because it goes in increments. Like it'll raise up a little bit in vibration because you're walking on Gaia or Mother Earth, and you're a part of it. So those of you that are raising up with us, your frequency is also raising up. And you'll notice, for example, that the people in the world around you that's not ascending, they seem to be moving a lot slower. People, you notice there's too much hesitation at traffic lights. Or people are trying to talk and you want to get them to, they don't want to get to the point of the thing. Everything is taking a lot longer for you, than it is there, but they seem to be comfortable at that rate of vibration or speed, right? But this human resonance, the Earth is raising up now. Is it possible that if you raise the human body up in high frequencies high enough, is it possible for that body to shatter? What's your answer? Anybody?
Yes.
Yes.
That's right. Remember Ella Fitzgerald on the commercial? She hit that note, and the glass shattered.
And the glass broke. Yes.
That's right, the glass broke. So when you reach a high frequency, so what the Earth is, what's actually by intelligent design is that it'll raise up in frequency, and you raise up in frequency if indeed that's what you're doing. Then it'll slow down and level off and let you recalibrate, and get used to that. It's not about like you're gonna take a red hot skillet and just drop it in ice water. It's just a gradual thing like boiling a frog, so slow till you don't really notice the shock of it, right? But over time, we have doubled in frequency, many of us here, okay? And you can't tell about the people around you except in some of the ways that I just told you can identify. They seem to move and think and do things much slower, and slower.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of you'll notice that you're a lot hotter in your body temperature than the people around you. Like you said, when you were talking to your sister, you started feeling, but one thing you started feeling is you started getting warmer, right?
Right.
That's right. Because you were not like ice, vibrating real slow. You were moving fast like the water on the pot over the fire. You were starting to vibrate faster, and that created heat. You follow me?
Sure.
I can identify with that because my body temperature stays kind of high all the time. And one morning, Harry came over into my room to speak to me, and he touched me. He said, "God, Anuka, your body's so hot. Why are you so hot?" But I don't have a fever. My body is just hot.
That's right. That means you're raising up. Very good.
Very good.
All right. Okay. It's a low density frequency that allows it to be material. That's what allows your body to take the form of what you call physical or material. This is why you leave your body. You're no longer a physical body because your frequency raises when you go or transition out of it. You leave that density, but you still take that energy field with you. So you don't get out of anything, right? You just become a less dense copy of what you used to see in the mirror, right? And people don't think that you're leaving anything behind, because when you leave your body at night and what you think is a dream, you leave as a whole light being, and WHOLE, a whole light being. So when you travel in your dream like you flying a float to visit in a place you don't remember on Earth, you don't feel like you missing a foot or arm or a lip. You're a whole light being. Are you following me? You're just vibrating on a less dense frequency, so you can go through walls and see yourself in Denver, Colorado, or in San Diego, or whatever, you know what I mean? Because you've actually passed through the walls. Right? Is everybody with me? Yeah. And then when you get through with that flying and floating, or that OBE, or that astral flight, then you slow down your vibrations, and then you start sliding back down the etheric tube, and then pop back into your head, into that temple, and then you recalibrate your frequencies to this earth plane, and reconnect the those 7 nodal points along your spinal column, and then you drop back down into your body. Now, some of you, when you feel like you're flying forward and you drop back down in the body, you try to move your feet and you feel like you can't. It's called sleep paralysis. Because what it is you have to give your spiritual, the real Ankh, the Ankh-Ban-Ka, the soul, spirit, and etheric aspect of you, enough time to recalibrate with the physical plane so that it can get back in your body and then send electrical impulses to your muscles to trigger movement, make them like electric. Your energy and your spirit is like electricity. If you touch the electric wire to your arm muscle, it'll recoil or make your fingers move or whatever, And that's how you write and draw and do all these things or walk, because your brain, your mind rather, is so powerful and intricate, it can control that voltage to just the way you can make all kinds of sophisticated movements. I mean, it's a wonderful thing, a wonderful dance that happens. You follow what I mean? And, I'm so proud of you all. And I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad to have company. Bless you, gods. Bless you. I'm so delighted to have a family of gods for my family. Like Jesus said when he was in the temple teaching, it was so crowded and packed, there was no room for standing, and the disciples that were on the door interrupted his kutbah, his sermon, and said, Master, your mother and your brother knocked without, they want to come in. And he taught one of the most powerful lessons when he turned to everybody in the temple and he said, who is my mother? Who is my brother? Whoever believes in the word of the Most High, that is my mother, that is my brother. So what I'm saying is that we know everybody has an earthly mother and father and family, etc. But you have a heavenly father and a heavenly family. So you have to prepare and return to your long home. But if you make too many attachments to the world, forgetting that you're not from your parents, you're through your parents, then you could make an attachment that you can't break. And remember, you don't forget that if you go to hell with them, that's not going to get anybody to heaven. It's not loyalty or love. It's just stupid. Are you following me? You got to learn how to let go, let God. Everybody can't make this journey. Now they got the same opportunity as you, but they just won't take it, right?
Right.
It's arrogance, ignorant, and a lot of different definitions for it. But whatever it is, they're not going to make it. Because you can only lead a horse to water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, Walt, did you find that human resonance?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, son. Go ahead.
All right, so it says here. Okay.
If you can read a lot louder, too, and clear on the phone, it'll be helpful.
Okay. So this is what shows on the internet. It shows many studies have been carried out to study the vibration responses and development of mathematical modeling in sitting and standing vertical position. According to the previous studies, the resonant frequencies of the human body were identified to be the range of 4.6 hertz and 8.12 in
What are those numbers again, Walt?
4 to 6 hertz sitting down, and then 8.12 or 8 to 12 hertz in the vertical position.
What? Is it went up there? Okay.
Mm-hmm. One of them says 7.5. That was another one I said. It says what frequency do humans vibrate at? And it says about 7.5.
That's right now. I'm waiting for
in 2018.
Okay, it was in 2018 around 7.5. Well, the people with me are vibrating faster than that because they're moving stars. You see what I mean? Like you and I did the other night, right? Right. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So then it gives a chart, and it says, what is the frequency of God? It says 963.
What? Say that again.
The frequency of God is 963.
Of God?
Of God.
G-O-D.
G-O-D.
The frequency of God is 9.3. And he's saying humans are 7.5. Now, I know that you all are Homo Galactica because you all are vibrating faster than that, but I know you're not up to 9.3. I'm not saying you never have been, but I know you're not holding that frequency because if you were, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be even dealing with this at all. You would be elsewhere creating universes, but go ahead.
So it says the frequency 963 refers to the significance of the number 963 is the God frequency. 963 hertz of the frequency of the gods. It's a frequency that is commonly referred to as a pineal gland activator. It aids in the removal of brain fog and improvement of clarity in our thought process. That was March 7th, 2022.
Yes. Oh, right. Okay, Walt. I think we got it.
Okay.
But you know what I was looking for? If you can casually peruse, I was looking for them to say what the Schumann resonance was in say 2011. You know, because I wanted to emphasize if anybody can find that. I think Keefer, you had found it before you were saying that it had doubled from what it was in the recent past. Right,
yes.
It has doubled. So that's important for everybody to know. The Schumann resonance is raising up in the earth and in certain people. The 144,000. So this is scientific fact. It's not spookism. It's reality. You follow what I'm saying? And people don't understand. They think that this is, some religious thing. It's not that at all. There are people that's going to make it and people being left behind in the old heaven and the old earth. And the problem with that is that the Creator has told you that there'll be a new heaven and a new earth, for the former things will have what?
Passed away.
Exactly.
Passed
So if you get
away.
left behind on the old earth, all these designs about what you're going to do in the future, there is no future here. And you can see it happening every day. You can't even sustain the temperatures. They're talking about temperatures, and the next couple of years, is going to be averaging 125 to 130 degrees. That's not sustainable. You know? The earth is telling you to get off of her back like a dog shaking fleas off with the plagues and floods and the droughts and I'm just saying the fires. It's all telling you that this is over. You hear me, COVID? All right. It rises when you go or transition out of it. You leave that density, but you still take that energy field with you. So you don't get out of anything, right? Whatever you're doing here, you know, what frequency you have, you're going to take it with you even though you leave the density of the body. Now that's important. Because as the Bible puts it, those of you that are blind in this, so shall you be in the next. In other words, you're not going to transition from your body and then wake up with an epiphany of, I got it. You know, I'm a God. I'm there. No, you'll be a spiritual being because you don't have a physical body. But your mind will still be, by the laws of attraction, you'll be attracted to the things of the world. Your money, your family, your abilities, you know, your fame, your whatever it is that attracts you here, your lust or your greed or whatever. And but the problem is being a spiritual being in a physical reality, as you can't participate in it for the lack of a physical body, and that's the definition of hell. You follow me? When you come out of it, and you see somebody driving your car with your clothes on in your house and this, that, and the other, with your woman or your man and your kids calling them mama and daddy, you want to just walk up and start slapping people and worse. But when you reach for the drawer to get your pistol out of it, your hand goes right through the drawer, right? And you just have to watch them doing whatever they're doing in your bed. Now when you walk outside, you're going to be cussing, and you're going to be so hot that one thought could burn up 50 or 60 acres a week. But it don't make no difference how hot you get, you're going to get hotter than that. That's the fire that rises above the heart, the fire that's kindled by the Most High. This is what you call the lie, the fires of hell. All right? It's not fumar. It's not blazes like a match. It's hotter than that. Right? Okay. You're going to take that with you. Okay. So here's how the new earth works. You don't have to believe me, but I do look at the science to guide me on this. Please mute your phones. We live in a multidimensional existence, endless. They keep saying, oh, there's 9. Oh, no, there's 12. You know, with string theory, they go up to 21, 13. No, there's 21. No, they're endless. You follow what I mean? Now, what do I mean by endless? I gave you all examples because thus he spake, right, with parables about a young lady that believed in particle physics. That was her study. And she believed that when they said that they had found the God, or the smallest particle in existence, she thought there was one smaller than that. And she pursued that in her studies. When she got out, she was so convinced that she got grants and set up experiments. And because she knew it was there, she was just trying to find it. She didn't just believe it, she knew it. And then one day she discovered it and could prove it. And she got papers and it was accepted science. But what she didn't realize is that the particle wasn't there, but it was her knowing it was what created the particle. Is everybody with me? So that the more your imagination and your mind expands, so does your reality expand with it. And anything that's possible. You can create more and more wonderful. There's no such thing as too big, too small, too high, too low, too much. It's whatever you believe. If you have enough faith to fill a mustard seed, you can make a mountain get up and walk, right? I don't want to belabor the point, but I hope everybody got what I'm saying right there, right? There's no physical limitations like it is with the physical eyes. It's like when you start using the mind's eye, or the eye of God, the all-seeing eye, then all things are possible, right? All can, you can. All right. It's with you even though you leave the density of the body. So here's how we do. Okay. They keep saying, okay, the one has no limit, unlimited dimensions, which everybody has the capability to shift into. Now, here's what's going on. When you raise your frequency, you tap into another dimension. Why? Because the frequency of that dimension is different. So a lot of you are realizing different things in your life, like you put your car keys down on the kitchen counter and you come back and they're not there, they're someplace else. You shifted between worlds and realities. Or when you look at the King James Bible, or what we call a Mandela effect, you start searching things out and you can see what other people are not seeing, because to them it's the same old world they're living in. So nothing has changed to them, and they don't even know what you're talking about. But you know that you can go to the pages of the King James Bible, and family, are they changed completely?
Yes, they are.
That's a yes or no.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's right. And many of you had the same Bible for 30 years. But it's not the same book, is it? No.
Exactly, it's not.
Sure.
I know. And I can get people proof right now tonight, of course. All you have to do is merely ask, and I can prove it 1,000 times in 100 ways. Okay. Then a third level dense frequency, which is where illness happens, right? And that's, you got to be around some, it's just like you have devils, white folks that's always threatening, trying to block and cut into you. They send out bad signals, literally, because they have frequency towers. The big tall ones you see in the background, way in the background when you're driving about 25 miles apart, so tall that they have frequencies they send out, and they modulate it, and during the week, the work week is like leveled off, beep, but then when it gets to be Friday or Saturday, turn it up, beep, and then you hear everybody start speeding up, busting wine about, everything gets real fast and frantic. Police cars going on, they raise up the frequency. Then when it gets around Sunday night, they start turning it down to prepare you for the next week work week. You follow me? So, and then you have people in your family and in your life that raise up or lower your frequency. You could be sitting around the kitchen talking with friends, and y'all bring up Willie or Shirley. It could be an auntie or uncle, how negative they are, and then you talk about it, and we talked you up, and then you hear a knock at the door. Go to the door, and you turn to the people when you open the curtain and say, y'all ain't gonna believe who this is. Yeah, we know it's Shirley, right? Yeah. And you let them in, and she come in and go, yeah, goddammit, it's me. And I know I'm full of hell, and there's going to be some hell in here now. And she sucks so much energy out the room, the lights start flickering in the ceiling, but you don't really notice it. She's really flickering, or he is taking drawing the energy and joy right out of everything. She can do it real good. She's a professional at that. Just a energy vampire. You follow what I'm saying? So be careful of those kind of beings. Because they're going to try to make you and everybody else think you crazy. It ain't happening.
Right.
Okay. It is happening. All right. So now we know higher frequency literally have been proven. Love, all these things can change the frequency of the planet. They documented this meditation, the Schumann experiment. They proved this many years ago, and have done it several times to prove that they can change not only just the frequency, but the crime rate went down, illness went down, accidents went down. I had a woman that, I have children, but 3 of them I had by this last woman out here. And she was so evil inside that she literally made me sick. And Harry can tell you, I couldn't even walk. Am I right? I'm a sensitive person, And when those evil creatures, they just suck all the life out of me. They do. You can't be around those creatures. And it's normal to her. And then when I got enough, I started retaliating, making her curve her behavior. And she was standing over there by the air conditioner, and I said, you can't, I'm not going to accept this here. You're not going to do this to me, because I'll do whatever I have to do. You're going to stop that devil witchcraft shit. And she said, what you want me to do, die? Isn't that a response? So she's saying that if you don't let me finish, in other words, this is the way I am. I don't know nothing else. I'm a negative motherfucker. This is what I'm saying. Now, if you don't let me, be like this with the pitchfork, that's going to start killing me. And I'm like, well, you need to die. And so she's dying. And she is dying. She's full of cancer and dying in her own shit. And I'm sorry for it. But evil is as evil does, right? She led herself to hell. All right. Because I got things to do, places to go, and people to see. They documented this meditation, the Schumann experiment, right? Okay. This is documented science, all right? So we know our feelings and thoughts and beliefs are changing. Our frequencies out there, changing other people's DNA. But here's what that's why I ask all of you, when we write these posts and you send in your testimonies, which should be instinctive, that you just do it like blinking. Every class you should write a testimony and email it in so we can post it on the post that we do bi-weekly. And everybody should make a point to go on Facebook and all media and join all the groups at once so that they can post these posts up all over the world. You got to do it. We got to reach the world, because the sooner we raise the 144,000 and achieve our number, the sooner I can take you all out of here, because my mission will be completed. Right? Our mission. You follow what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So we can procrastinate, and a lot of people are going to drag their feet and talk about what they going to this, that, the other, keep gum bumping and not doing nothing, worrying about what devils think and this, that, and the other. Okay, we all have free will. You don't have to believe me or nothing I say. You can just turn the channel off right now if you want. Here's the deal. Now, you have free will, but when you go to a higher frequency, you're now tapped into things that seem a little cray-cray. Higher intuition. You might see things. You might experience some things. Your third eye. Somebody said, should we open the third eye? Why would you be afraid of your powers? Of course, you can actually put blinders on. I saw an experience where you can blindfold yourself, see nothing, and still see things. And that's what we are like on the other side, right? It's like when you all move stars, I always stay in the bedroom with the light out, and I make a mind link with everybody outside looking at them actually. Because I know that all is in me. And when you close your eyes, that blackness that you see, or that void, is actually the canvas upon which you create all of your images with your imagination. So all is inside of me. That's the multiverse, is that blackness when you close your eyes. It's I am an all, and all is in me. So I don't have to go out there. There is no out there. You follow what I'm saying? And I do my best work with my eyes closed. It's like, remember I asked you all, who was it that said Fed Lux in Latin, or Sabbath, let there be light? It was you, because you really are this God. So let's exercise this again. Need everybody to close your eyes. Now, go back in your mind with your imagination. Remember that beautiful summer day was the brightest sun you ever saw. So that when you were driving, for example, and you turned the corner, you turned into the sun. It was so bright, it hurt your eyes. You had to pull the visor down, the sun visor, so you wouldn't run into another car, so you could keep up with the line, the dividing line, because the sun was that bright. Now, how many of you can see that bright sun?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I can see it.
All right. Now, you got to remember, it's triple darkness in your mind and brain, just like it is in the womb. So since there's no light inside of you, who's creating that light from out of darkness? From out of the darkness came light. Who just did that?
I did.
That's right. So who's this God that said, let there be light?
Us.
Ain't that something?
Well, we are.
Certainly thou what heedest of it, but the day we have removed from thee thy veil, thy sight is sharp. You might see things with your third. Okay, something. Why would you be afraid of your own powers? Of course, you can actually put blinders on, right? Now, that's what we're like on the other side. So, if you know, in other words, your ability to create things is only limited by your imagination, right?
Right.
And it's just like if an artist or a sculptor, you walk with in the woods and they see a petrified log. And that's what you see, a petrified log, but it's not what they see. They want to bring it home because they see a chair in there or a bust of a woman or a man or a figure or something in there, a bird or whatever. And a sculptor, if you follow them to the studio and watch them work, they're chipping away right there. And what they're actually doing is they're not creating anything. What they're doing is freeing what they already perceive is in there. They're chipping away the access to set it free. Are you following me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They already know. They have an eye to know. It's the mind's eye. You can't see it with your two eyes, but they saw it. The potential in that piece of wood, right?
Right.
When you get out of the density of this body and you go into that higher frequency, you're accessing what you are when you're not in the body. All you never lost touch with, you never lost touch with it. Now we know other dimensions exist, unlimited dimensions. So I'll give you an example with the ghost people who lower frequencies, like they're attached to certain things, or if that happens and there's a low frequency energy, might dwell in that dimension, even though they're out of their body. See, and that's hell right there. So if we might get to see them on occasion, we might get to see a ghost, a haze, a fog, specter. That ghost, whether it's a residual energy or after a person energy spirit, is just a lower frequency, probably trapped, right? Because they can't ascend. They're attached to something in the world. And you're being told to come out of the world. And that's what happens to people when they waste their time in non-improvement, chasing after devils and theories and religions and all kind of. The roads to hell are countless, but the road to heaven is one sirat, is to make the direct journey straight inside and reconnect with your own higher self. If you deviate from that, if you in any way, you're on the way to hell by whatever name. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
It's just somebody visiting you, and they're not a lower frequency at all. That could be an extraterrestrial, spiritual being from an interdimensional being could be visiting you, but they're not stuck. See, they can ascend. You know how angels ascend and descend up and down Jacob's ladder by lowering their vibrations and raising them. But they're not stuck. So ghosts sometimes are just stuck because they're of their lower frequency, and they don't realize that they're not physical. See, they still think like physical beings, but they're a whole light being, so they think that they're physical, right? So they try to give dap to their wino friend, but their hand goes through them. They keep talking to people that can't hear them, and they start getting hotter and hotter and hotter. How hot can they get? Supernova, right? Chernobyl, a meltdown. But it's not going to make no difference because until they wake up to what's happening, they're still going to be trapped in that. Okay, they don't realize they're not physical beings anymore until they realize their energy, which they can, until they release their energy, which they can. All of them can, and we can help them. We can help them to go to the higher frequencies, and then they can go off to someplace else. They go into another dimension, which is higher, which we're probably not participating in. You participate in dimensions. You participate in frequencies. This is why we shift into a new frequency is so important. What is my frequency? What am I manifesting? That's what you're manifesting. So if you, and this is science, quantum physics, both look at the identical thing, we can have completely different results. Now, I told you all, you can be in a room with another person in the living room, and y'all both looking at the coffee table, and you think that it's one in it, but it's actually two coffee tables, and it's four people. Because there's the coffee table that you see and the coffee table that they see, and there's the you that you see and the you that they see, and vice versa. When Malachi said that everybody had their own book when he put out the Holy Tablets, everybody kept saying, how is this book unique to me? And everybody got the same book. But everybody that has the book has a different perception of it. Nobody's going to read that book from front to back and you ask them what it was, going to come out with the same explanation. So everybody's so the book was the same, but the way that you perceive it is different from anybody, is unique to anybody else. That's what made it your book. Well, reality is like that. You see, one man's treasure is another man's treat, right? Beauty is in the eye of the what? The beholder. Right? I don't see what she's seeing him. That's right. You don't see it. But she sees it.
Mm-hmm.
You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. This stuff is complicated, but it's simple too, right? At the same time.
Absolutely.
Okay. So if you, and this science, okay, both will get the identical thing, we could have a completely different results, different realities based on what we think and believe about it. Because my wave, turning it into a particle, could be different than your wave. Therefore, you will live in a different reality. Even though I'm aware of you, you won't participate in mine. So there will be people, imagine this, there's a big mansion, and we're just in different rooms. So when you go have frequencies, you go in a different room. And then maybe you go into a higher room and a higher room. And when you're in that room, you're totally unaware of all the other, right, people in the other rooms, on the other floors. You might hear once in a while, but you don't really participate in them. Does this make sense? That's what dimensions are. That's what the new earth is. So when you go into a higher frequency, you're participating in balanced compassion, love, no more guilt, no more blaming, and no more separation. So you cannot participate in that new earth unless you're on the frequency of that divine love. You can't go into that room unless you participate in that. They'll kick you out. So go back down to the floor where everybody's looking at all the crap. And I need to be informed so that I can focus on it and create it. When you focus on it, you create it. Do you want to go on to the new earth? Do you want to go on to the new earth? You can start today. It's happening. The frequency has gone up, Schumann. It's documented. We've seen what's going on. The imbalance of the whole human species has created. This crisis we're going through because we've been rejecting the whole real structure that's in place. And this has allowed us to step away from it and create something new if we choose. Now, you could go through and you may believe this, you're going to hell in a handbasket. Here we go, blah, blah, blah. You can go, so it's like a person that goes to college for 20 years, 30 years, and they labor under the misconception that they know everything. But let's say that they know everything. Then they really know nothing because they know everything about nothing because there's no such thing as things, and we can prove that, right?
Right.
So if they know everything about things, then they don't know anything. You follow me? So if you look at the periodic chart on a chalkboard, and you have it split down the center, and then on the left side you write all the 99 elements, which there are more, but 99, starting with hydrogen 1 at the lightest one in the bottom right-hand corner. And that's not really a complete atom because there's only one electron in the first K shell. So, and then iron, for example, has 26 particles, so it's much more dense, right? So we'll call that something. Everything, we'll title that side of the chart something because people identify that as something because it's tangible. But on the other side of the board, we're going to make that the etheric side, and we're going to call that nothing, which is actually something without its atomic number, right? Because it's anything that's subatomic particles on that side, like ether 1, ether 2, ether 3, right? And that's what you call the spiritual realm, where you have like charm, neutrini, all these smaller subatomic particles that are really there, but they're too light to be seen or weighed. In other words, to qualify to be something, you have to have some criteria, like you can see it or touch it or weigh it. By the way, they weigh the soul and the spirit. You put a man or a woman in the throes of death on these extremely sensitive scales for a bed, extremely electronic scales, and when they leave the body, they lose about 1.8 ounces, right?
Mm-hmm.
When the soul leaves the body. So they know it's real. But it's so it's not dense enough to see or anything, except for people that have real spiritual eyes. They can see the spirit or the aura around people, spiritual sensitives. They can see that, but it's so light. It's like hydrogen 1. You can't weigh it because, when you put helium, neither helium, which is denser than hydrogen because it has 2 electrons in the first case shell. But if you fill up a balloon with helium and put it on the scale, how much does the helium weigh? Nothing, because if you let it go, it's going to float up. Right. So, but white people will bend down to go to helium and hydrogen as on the side of something, right? Because they can detect it. It has volume. It'll make the balloon expand, right? But when you go to the etheric side, it won't. It'll go through the pores of the balloon. So they can't even, you follow me? So they say that's nothing. But science has discovered that that's actually something without its atomic number. Because if hydrogen 1 is the first of the elements that they say exist, then what number is below 1? You follow me? So that would be nothing to them. But it's actually something in the form of subatomic particles without its atomic number, because there's no number lighter than under 1. You follow me?
Right.
Right. But that's really what the spiritual realm is. You follow me?
Like the 0 point, right?
Say it again now.
Is that the 0 point?
Yes, it doesn't exist to physical people with a physical perspective, but it's just as real as this, so that when you ascend to the spiritual plane as a whole light being, what will happen, Walt, is that everybody that's vibrating on that frequency in that room as a spiritual being, they'll come into view, and you'll be able to see those men and women and touch them and shake their hand and do everything you do with people here, because you're vibrating on the same frequency, right?
Right.
So it's not like you're going to be cut off from the world. You can't have a hamburger or a woman or nothing. Everybody's like, man, no, it's not like that. Only difference is that in that world, vibrating at that frequency and at that density level, you can't be shot with a bullet.
Right.
Because you go through walls, so you can't get COVID. You can't get old. You can't be in a car accident. You can't, you understand what I mean?
Right.
So, and you can't get hungry. So now then you understand the Bible when it goes on to say, there'll be a new heaven and a new earth, for the former things will have passed away. And God himself will be their God, and they will be his people. And there'll be no more hunger, no more thirst, no more crying, no more pain, no more tears, no more death. For the former things will have what? Passed away. You left them back behind with that physical body.
Mm-hmm.
You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
But you in a dream, when you're in a dream, right? You know it's you, and you can think and all of that. You know what I mean? It's just, you follow me?
Yeah.
That's right. But you just used to think it. So you'll be in the world, but not of the world. In other words, when you go to the new heaven and the new earth, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be on a new planet, because we can all be on the same planet in different worlds.
That's right.
Or in the same house in a different room, you see?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's just like we're in a different room. We're in a different conference call room tonight. We have gathered here on the spiritual plane. We're not here physically, but we all have dialed into a certain frequency, and it brought us into this place together, and we're here together. We are gathered here together, right? In this place. You know what I'm saying? To ascend up higher, to gather, to go to heaven, right? And I don't know what all these people are doing that they think is so important they don't have time to come be with us now. Isn't that something?
Ain't that something? Right.
It's gonna serve to be their pain. You see what I'm saying? They too hip to be with the 144,000, right? Because they too busy knowing everything, right? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Which is they don't really know anything. But they don't know anything, because there is no such thing as things, right?
Right.
But there's none so blind as he who refuses to what?
To see.
Refuses to see, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
We have to have that unconditional love.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Now, this is an opportunity for a new earth. Yes, this is amazing. What can we do? We never have to go back to destroying our planet. Everything you do now is going to determine accordingly your frequency and what dimension you will operate in and what will happen to your world and what will probably, it'll be of your choosing. This is science. So what I mean is that be careful what you do every day and mind your mind for the dues of your soul, because every thought you have and every action you make, every word you say, is you're shaping your own eternity right now. And if you're causing a lot of bliss and pleasure and making people feel comfortable and uplifting and trying to make their condition better, you're doing it for yourself, actually. Because this whole creation is like a reflecting mirror. That's what it is. And energy always returns to the source of energy. So whatever you put out is what's coming back to you. Like I said, you can't stand in front of a mirror and flip the bird or give it the finger and look for a smile back. That's just insanity. The mirror can only show you what you show in it. So if you show it ugliness, that's what's going to start coming back to you. And you're going to be like, why is all this ugliness coming? That's what you're putting out. So it gives you a chance to grow so you can see what it is you're really putting out. You can't trick the mirror. You know? So if you don't like receiving ugliness, stop putting ugliness out and stop pretending like that's not what you're doing. Yes, this is amazing. All right? In fact, there's so much out there that you probably don't even know. I was talking to one of my friends who is really up on this stuff, and she said, I never heard of these things, and there are no real experiments. Said, these are real experiments. I can send you to a link. So you should Google this on that. This stuff is real, and it is human. That's right, Mandela effect. It is very real. I swear on the Holy Bible. Yes, it is. You can even ask Reverend Deacon Portop and Pastor Fried Chicken. Okay. Dimensions and vibrations, frequencies. Everything's on a vibration. Everything's a frequency. There's nothing else. There's no material world. I'm telling you, it's not true. It's no physical. It's all a frequency. It's all fabrication of our focus. You just created the sun in your mind. So you see what I mean? It's all a fabrication of our focus within the conscious field in creating this as a collective. Nothing punishes you. Nobody makes you feel bad. Nobody makes you do or feel anything. You have participated in everything. When you find the value, you go to a higher frequency because now the things happening to you that you don't like, you see it differently. So you just shift it to a higher frequency with people that said, hey, you know what? I'm going to forgive my parents. I'm going to forgive my uncle or my aunt. I'm going to forgive that woman. What great teachers were they, right? Now that's an open mind right there. That's a deity speaking. What great teachers. I want to say what great assholes were they, but that's right. But they really taught you. And the devil can be a great teacher, right? Because the devil is the perfect example of exactly what not to be. That's right. Okay. Why would I ever feel anything negative towards another person? Now, see, when you ascend to that level, you're a master. Why would I ever say anything bad about another person? Why would I ever have to argue a point? We can share our thoughts, and I hate arguing. You know, it makes me feel like I dropped down into some kind of toilet or something. And feelings. But when I'm serious about that, you know, but you got creatures that they're argumentative. You know, if somehow or another you find yourself immersed in argument and boisterous talking, raising your voice and anger and all that, you know, be like, how did I get this? You know, but you have had relatives that know exactly how to push your buttons. You know, they can make you go from 0 to 120 in a second because they know exactly the acute point. Now, they know exactly what you don't like. They're going to sit and push that button with a petulant finger like a petulant finger pushes to the wall of an ulcer. They know how to get your fucking neck up. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
All you gotta do, that's right, just pluck that nerve. Just start saying something that ain't true. Or do something, you just tell a damn lie, and they know what you, that'll send that nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Start talking crazy. Talking about water's dry and all that shit. Don't come here with that shit already. Okay, all right. Towards another person, why would I ever say anything? Okay, let me try to. When you're in an argument, you go into lower frequency of battle. Anything that battles is a lower frequency. I have to be right. You're wrong. You're going to hell. Okay, no, you're going to live in that world. I'm not. I'm choosing a different world. And my world has shifted unbelievably. All of these symptoms that you had with the electromagnetic field, you've been feeling all that, shifting into eating lighter. Foods, that's another way you can tell, is that you start eating a much lighter diet, right? And not when you eat meat. Now, people that's the meat eaters, those are the ones with the low frequency, the low vibrations, right? The carnal, that's the beast, you know. The meat eaters, or either when you don't want to eat anymore, you know, when you feel like I don't really want to eat, then you raising up, you transform into, because you know when you're spiritual, you don't need to eat. That is your DNA changing. It's a physical thing. It's really happening because our powers are kicking in. Because when you go to a higher frequency, all this magic kicks in and it's real, Star Movers. All right, so I'm going to do. Okay, let me see. I talked about what's the difference between manifesting, which you're doing all day long. Every thought is manifesting. Even when you're not thinking, you're manifesting. Which brings me to a point. You know, half the time that you all are ethereal and just pure consciousness, because you're flashing in and out of what you call this material reality roughly 1,044 times every second. So half the time, you're not even in this, you're just pure consciousness. And at that point, you have the ability to create anything you want, recreate your body, recreate your environment, speed up, slow down time. You know, you can do whatever you want, right? So what I'd like you all to do is start taking 9 minutes a day, 3 minutes each time to visualize and meditate and focus on perfecting your being and seeing yourself perfected exactly the best you could be with your imagination as limited as it is right now, right? Mm-hmm. And what happens is that you help to change your subconscious minds. The recorder is going on and keeps repeating over and over again, because a lot of people say, I burned my knee, or I cut my hand, you know, when I was 10 years old. Why is the scar still there? It's because you haven't changed your mind. The things you look at will never change until you change the way that you look at things. You have to change your mind and start projecting a new sun in your mind, or create, what did I say? I'm on the wrong track, right? That's the right track, coming in from another direction. What I'm saying is that you have to change your focus and see yourself different, and then the scar will be removed. Are you following what I'm saying? But if you don't change your mind, your subconscious mind is playing a record that you've already made an impression on it, and it's like a groove. It's bump, bump, bump. It's stuck in that groove, and it's not going to change unless you change it. You follow what I'm saying? And then you can change, when you can remove the scar, you can change your body. You can, because everybody, no matter who they are, there are things about us that we'd like to change about ourselves if we could. But we can. Whether you spell it S-U-N or S-O-N, you can change it. Real easy, relatively easy, if you understand how this works. And that's my job, to try to bring it within your reach, okay? All right. I just really ask you all to help me to help you and everybody else. Just please. All right. Be serious about it, because it is serious. Nothing can be more serious than you being a God on the throne forever. Nothing can be a higher priority than that, to become an immortal. So I'm going to do, okay, let me see. What do I do when I focus on it? When you do that, you intensify what you're creating. So if you're into the negativity, you're intensifying creating that. So we can manifest amazing things in our own world by focusing on it. That's why I have you go, see, that's 3 seconds to manifest anything. Okay? Now, only thing I say is this. I want to qualify that. As when you want to create a new car, a new house, for example. You know, it's not just merely picturing it in your mind, because let's look at it. When you think of picturing something in your mind, you usually do it in 2 dimensions, in height and width, just like looking at a picture on TV without 3D glasses. No, you're going to have to learn how to visualize these things at least 3 dimensions, because it's got to have depth too. You got to see that car, walk around it, kick the tires, get inside, drive it, play the music, smell the Corinthian leather, brand new, see the telephones going by looking like a picket fence because you're driving that fast, right? But, you know, because, see, a 3-dimensional reality cannot reproduce a 2-dimensional vision. Are you following what I'm saying? And you keep saying, Amun told me to visualize what I want over and over, but it's not coming true for me. Because you're doing it in 2D, in a 3-dimensional reality. It can't do it. It can't manifest it, right? So these are the things they're not telling you that I'm trying to make you keenly aware of. Are you following me? You have to see it in 3D. If you want a suitcase full of money, then it has to be a 3-dimensional suitcase, right? But what you create, S-U-N, is only limited by your imagination, right? It's technically, you're saying it's unlimited what you can do. Like Malachi told me when we were on that, looked like a college campus, walking, and the sun was just coming up, and I saw 2 balls falling out the sky about the size of, you used to be on a paddle and a little ball come back to you on a string. One was red and one was blue. He caught the red one, I caught the blue one. And then the scene shifted, and we were in a room. I was on a chair, and he was on a love seat, and they had 2 heavy plastic gauge bags there with those balls in each one of them. And I could see on mine that it was like half lit up with a light flashing like lightning on it and all that. Malachi picked this bag up and just tore it open like a bag of potato chips and did whatever he did. I was saying, hey man, you don't even know what this, but he had already done it, right? And I assume I did too, because later on the scene changed, and we were on some transportation vehicle. He was sitting on the back seat. Now that I think of it, I know it was a craft, because I've been on that craft with him before, the hallway down at light. But anyway, I was looking up at it because I was on one knee, and I was looking up, and he looked at me and he said, now that you can do anything, what are you going to do? And I thought about it seriously for a minute, and I said, I don't know. And that was the real answer. And when you get there, you might feel the same way. Maybe you might know instantly what you're going to do because you gave it thought. But I don't know. I guess move to creation, heal people. I don't know. Lead y'all, bring y'all to heaven. That's what I don't know. That's the way I feel. That's the way I feel. I want everybody to be in heaven. That's what I feel. Right? Somebody else might feel like creating, you know, everything about me, what they want for them, you know. And I don't know if there's anything wrong with that, but it's not the way I feel. I really feel like one with all and we're all one. I really feel that. Okay. Do unto your brother and your sisters you would unto you. I'm serious about that. Right? Because I know it's real. All right. You can, that's why I have you go 3 seconds to manifest anything. I have you focus on that thing. Focus on that thing. Focus and get away from there. And pretty soon it starts to show up. Okay, it's 10:25. She says, it's time for us to go outside and perform some miracles. It's okay to say you God with miraculous cries of I'm God to the amazements of the prophets and the sorrow of the saints. But I tell you where the rubber meets the road is when you start doing things that gods do. That's what's happening. You follow me? Exercise that muscle, family. That's right. Right. You know, knock the dust off it and start working that muscle. Start performing miracles. That's right. And the more you do it, it becomes just a part of you. You know, you start becoming a miraculous person. being, a supreme being, a God. But you know, you're gonna have some people that, you know, we done moved stars so much we did, you know, like that's getting old. How can that get old? Please.
Right.
Moving stars, and that means you ain't gonna be, you know went cray cray. And I'm giving them new things too. Now I allow them to pull the stars down to them and then push them back up and out, not just left and right and circle. You know what I mean? But and then you can think of things to do. We had one sister that was in class. I don't know if she's here right now, but she was bending spoons with her mind. Other people hang thread up in the ceiling and move it all kind of ways. Other people do other. We had one brother in Rhode Island. For his grandchildren, he would take what was it he had? He had something he would stick a needle into.
He had a piece of foil.
A cork.
A piece of foil on a cork.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he would take the cork and stick a needle in it. Then he would fold a piece of aluminum foil and balance it on the tip of that needle, and then carefully place a jar over it on the table so that the wind wouldn't blow the foil. And then he would take his hands and go around the jar without touching it over and over again until he got that foil to start rotating like a helicopter, and that would make his grandchildren laugh, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, you could do other things with that. Pretty soon you all will be able to make cars raise up. You'd be able to do a lot of different things. Whatever it is you want to, I don't know what you want to do. You want to create the sun? You just did that. You see what I'm saying? So it's unlimited, right? Right. Yeah. Just don't ever say that I can't. That's not part of your vocabulary. All right. Who's the first person that's going to move something for us tonight? Let me turn off this light so I can go inside. All right. Now I can see because it's dark. See?
I like that.
All right. The light creates the chaos. That's the outside world. The light world, yeah, that's the world that makes you blinded by the light. All right, who's gonna be the first one, brother or sister? What do you see out there? It's not cloudy everywhere. Now, what do you see? I heard some kind of demonic laugh back there. Did you hear that?
No, that was me. I was glad because you always say it's not dark. You know, it's like cloudy out everywhere all the time. That was me. I'm sorry.
Okay, Amanda. What do you see in Virginia there?
You know, it is cloudy here. It is.
Oh, I got you. All right. Now,
Yeah,
what do you see in Tennessee there? Time is passing.
It's cloudy here too, Amun.
Okay, what do you see in Florida? What do you see in Texas?
Yes, it's cloudy here as well. It's been raining, Amun.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Cheryl, are you here from London? Let's change continents. Well, I'm serious. Okay. What do you see in Mississippi? Meridian, Mississippi.
It's cloudy here. Amun.
Oh, man. Raining all over the world, right? This is the first time in over 40 years of teaching that I've ever had it cloudy everywhere in the country at once. So it's something happening, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I see a star.
You see a star? Okay, and where are you located in Florida?
I'm in Florida, yeah.
Okay. What you gonna do with it, son?
First thing I'm gonna do is move it up in the name of Amun-re.
And I love you too.
Just moving up.
All right.
Now move
Come in. I guess
right.
it's cloudy here too. To the right.
And
It's
all
raining,
right.
thunder. Okay. I see it.
Yeah, let's take it to the left. In the name of Amun-re. Going left.
All right.
Let's drop it down in the name of Amun-Re. It's going down fast.
I put a little sugar booger to a little energy boost. You want to pull it to you? Son, you want to pull it down toward you?
Yeah, let me pull it.
All right.
And coming in.
That's right. You want to push it back out?
Yeah, let's put it back in place.
Okay. It's going back out there, way out there.
And backing out.
That's right. Not too far. Everything's got a natural order. It's always going to end up right where it started.
All right.
Yep. I love you. Anybody else can see anything? Okay, then we can come back inside. But everything is. The people used to ask me, "You're not afraid to move those stars? God don't want you to." If God didn't want me to do it, I couldn't do it. You got to be kidding. But it's just like when you're a child swinging on a limb on a tree, and then you got to go in for lunch. When you come back out, that thing is exactly where it was before you were swinging on it. It has a natural order. You follow me? That star's going right back to where it's supposed to be.
That's right.
That's right. It has a natural order. Right.
Swinging pendulum.
Say it again now.
Swinging pendulum. It has to stop at some point, and like you said, the swing, it has to go back to where it was.
Exactly. All right, Katat. Now you said you were going to share something with us. We would appreciate that now. What you gonna do for us, my brilliant other son there?
Yeah, no, I just had another angle on the question from last class about soul and spirit. Because
well, I was hoping you could share something with us, though.
Well, I'm not sure what to share right now. Didn't prepare anything.
Oh, okay, not a problem.
The question was about soul and spirit last class, and then after pondering it, I got an image, and I wanted to ask, so is it like similar to something like the soul is the life body, while the spirit is the life force? Is that a good way to put it?
That's close, but they're both a light body. They're both a light body. Only difference is that there's a variation in the vibrant in the frequency. See, everything's in the same place at the same time, just vibrating on different frequencies. So when you're talking about your spiritual body, your physical body, or your soulful body, it's all the same thing. Just like water. At room temperature, it's a liquid, but H2O, when slowed down by the freezer, it appears to take on the form of solidity like ice. But when you pour it in a pot under a high fire, then the same H2O takes on a spiritual form you call steam, and eventually etherium, because you don't see water, steam, or ice. You see there's nothing there, so it's on the other side of the periodic chart. Ether 1, ether 2, you follow me? So you are the same thing. It depends on where your mind is vibrating, whether it's spiritual or soulful. It's just the speed of the frequency that determines the density of it. You follow what I'm saying? So these are just different salary stages of the same you. By that, what I'm saying is that this might make your senses revoked, but your physical form is just as real as your conscious form or your soulful form or spiritual form, right? The thing is that it doesn't have longevity, right? It's just like I told you, you take two mop sticks, cut them off, and then knock them into the dirt at angles like the top of the letter Y. And you take 7 big, heavy, long rubber bands, and you stretch it out along that all the way from the ground all the way to the top, and then strum them all together. And they vibrate. but the one at the bottom, since it's closer, it's not going to vibrate as long, right? Whoa, whoa. That's how your life is. But the one at the top that's stretched to tallness, ding, it's going to vibrate for a very long time at a high frequency, like that high pitch you hear in your ear sometimes, and it vibrates so fast at that frequency, it becomes invisible to the eye to see. So that's another dimension when it vibrates at that speed. But it's all the same rubber bands, right? The soul, what you can call the one at the top, the etheric you, the one under that, the soul you, the one under that, the spirit you. But it's all you. You follow what I'm saying? It's all the same H2O, the same, made out of the same substance, vibrating at different frequencies, right? So you have different titles of it because the different properties, the attributes that they acquire at that frequency, right? It's just like a little boy spinning a top. If it could mount up speed and RPMs, it starts increasing in speed. The faster it goes, it will start giving off a dull hum. You'll hear a sound coming off of it, emanating. Then it keeps mounting up more and more speed, and it can give off a little heat. And then it'll give off color, and the colors will start shifting through the spectrum till it gets up to violet. That'll be the last visible color on the spectrum. Then the top will go into being invisible. Ding! Right? And then if it keeps mounting up speed on and on and on, it'll ascend up till it merges back into all again. Are you following? Become God at that point, and the top will become a creator. Right? Right. So that it goes through the phases of being physical, spiritual, soulful. It goes through all those. Depends on the speed of vibration is all. You follow me? But at some speed, it'll be a light. It'll give off light and heat and different things, properties. Right? You follow me? But it's all still the same top. Right? You with me?
Yes.
Yeah. It's all still you. Katat, you hear that?
Yes, all right.
All right, I love you. Okay, Patel, would you like to share something with the class tonight? Or would you rather, I'm asking you, would you step up and share something with I like what you shared about reading the book and then you started hearing the insects get louder and louder. That was a good experience you shared with us, but I mean, give us a few words.
Rahul back.
Rahul back. Go ahead, God. You got something for us? I heard your vibration, young man. I love you. I'm glad to hear it. You want to share something with us? Sisters, anybody got anything they want to share with us?
I got a spiritual experience.
All right, very good. Load on.
There's Marua Amun-RAYay, St. Petersburg, Florida.
But the way you say Larry in French is load on.
Oh, yeah, load on.
Yeah, right. I'm a Creole, remember? Okay, go ahead, load on. Okay.
Well, on the 15th of this month, I went into Walmart, and this guy that was supposed to cut my hair, he didn't really want to cut my hair. So the guy, he said his name was Zaire, and he was like, "You looked at my lady a certain way," and I said, "What way did I look at the lady?" Tell me about the aunt that she had. I said, "I love the aunt." And the guy, he tried to approach me a certain way, and he always do this. And I like, "Well, I gave you my number, you didn't call me." So he was sitting there lying in front of her saying, "I called you, man, and texted you and everything." I said, "I stood there and watched you try to dial my number, and you never called me." I said, "You always do that." And he said, "Well, my lady was feeling a certain way the last time I saw you." I said, "Well, you know, I deal with the New Orleans doctrine and all that. I don't flirt with people. I don't be in other men's bedroom and stuff like that, right?" And I said, "Bro, trust me, I wasn't nowhere near like that to you." And then so he went on and said, "I'm Zaire." I said, "Well, I got Amun in my attribute." And then he started talking. I said, "No, I'm talking about not look professional. Let's go outside and I can move the stars." So he was like, he looked at me and really grabbed her and walked away. He didn't really want to talk about it.
Right.
So, and then I walked outside.
Because if he can't do it, it can't be done, see?
Yes.
Never mind, yeah. Yeah.
And he just had some type. My daughter was with me. And I said, I told my lady, and she said he looked at me kind of crazy. She said, every time we see that guy, why he always look at you sideways? I said, I don't know why he do that. He just come at me any kind of way. I said, I don't know why.
He's intimidated by your presence. He can feel it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I went outside, and I told my lady, I still remember the first time I met him, this guy came to me, and he was with another dude, and the guy said, hey, that's Amun-re. He said, that guy right there, he really can teach. He was like, what you mean? He was like, I could teach. And he said, no, man, that man on a whole nother level. And that was like a year ago. And I said, I remember why he was really reacting like that. So I jumped in my car, and as we were talking, I started driving down the road. My lady gave me a chip, and I was like, I don't want no more. I said it tastes good, but I don't want no more of that. And then I looked up. As soon as I got to like 34th and 18th Avenue, I saw a big old ball, a green light. It was moving so fast, and right. I could tell it was 3-dimensional. It went in so many directions, so fast, and it crossed from the left side, all the way zoomed over me, went in front of my car, and by the time I got in front of me, it was like dark, like a bright green, and it looked like binoculars. I'm like, why do it look like binoculars, like a ship or something? Then it went down into the earth. It went down into the earth. I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Well, see, he brought those emotions out of you, and since you are a creator, you started creating things. Now, the only thing we have to learn is how to bridle our thoughts and channel them and direct our energy to create the things that we want to. Because you are supreme beings. And what I always told you all about, a lot of you laughed, I said, I don't want you to grow up to be too powerful, for lack of a better word, to where that's your emotions. You know, you stand in front of a person and they upset you and make you real mad and spark your kundalini, and you look up, it's nothing but smoke and ashes and a pair of shoes there, and you regret. You see what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So that you have to grow in wisdom equal to the way that you attain power. You follow what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Or otherwise you'd be dangerous to yourself and others. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because they literally don't know what they're doing playing with us. You follow what I'm saying? They really don't.
They don't.
No.
Because my partner Tahuti had called me after that, and he always still stuck with me. Because like when I first got my first 5 degrees, he was with me. We got all our degrees together, and we still had the same dream. Me and this guy used to always have, and he must have picked it up. And he called me and said, "Somebody approached you," and I told him. I said, yeah, and he started telling me like how he kind of like seeing how he looked and his presence. He said you're gonna see him again, and they're gonna try to come with he said that guy gonna come and approach you and try to apologize. I said I don't even want to be near that guy.
I follow you now. You don't want no smoking ashes and shoes, huh? But that's right. You know, just give him some room and let him have his own space. Let him create his own reality. You know, that's all. Because, like I say, you know, a lot of people can love you for who you are, but still hate you for what they're not, you see.
Yeah.
And it's confusing. It's confusing, but, you know, like you say, it can be real. They really do love you, but you know, they can be having that devil jealous thing or something, you know. Their ego can be in the way, you know.
That's true.
But don't let it worry you. You're going to run into all kinds. It's just a test, that's all, and you'll pass them all. You're going to be all right. You hear me?
Exactly.
Yeah, I love you. All right, you all. What I'm going to do is make this kind of a short class. Now, I was talking to my son Walt. I was thinking he might ask me some questions about the Bible or something. I don't know. Did you have any questions, Walt?
No, more like a confirmation. Just so you were saying tonight that the frequencies are kind of like, or is our like a radio. Basically, we're tuning in to different frequencies all the time, and when we're not in tune to those frequencies, we're all on a different station, listen to a different channel, right? Is that
right? I like to use the cable TV as an example, because you could be looking at a picture like Frankenstein, you don't like the vibrations, and you raise up in frequencies and shift the channel, to Channel 19, and then you're in Hawaii, out on the beach with palm trees, with surrounded by people you love and are comfortable with, nice things to eat, and the water splashing up, the mist is cooling your body under the palm trees, with fragrances and butterflies, and all is well. That's heaven. You change the channel, that's all. And we all want to be on that same frequency with you in that heavenly place, right?
Right.
We don't like to be on the channel with Jason and all that, you know, in Ukraine and all. When they're blowing children out their shoes and sandals. We don't want to be on that channel.
Right.
With Trump and all that. We don't want to be there with all that lying and evil and hatred and all that. You follow?
Right. Right.
Yeah, let the devils have their own reality. That'll be hell by any definition, right? A rose is still a rose by any other name. That'll be hell, right? Looking beautiful to them, and they forget all about the thorns until they touch them. But, yeah, I feel sorry for them, you know, but I ain't going to feel too far. Not far enough to fall in there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
You know, all you can do is give them a warning a couple of times, and they don't catch on right there, you know. Because the devil is the only one that sits high enough to want to judge everybody. You know, the devil is always the judge of who's right and who's not, right? The lowest of the low is always the one pointing the finger at who's not this and who's that and who's not, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. You know, but don't let it worry you. You know what I mean? Because they're looking at things from the bottom up instead of the top down, so they'll never see. You see? So they have to hypothesize, make up things about what they think reality is, because they'll never know, right?
Right.
That's right. Because they're always looking out there for their fortune. Go ahead.
Oh, this roll back family temple.
Hey, Rahul back there, Doc. I'm so happy you got a hold of your other package. You've been learning, huh? That's good.
Yes, I've been learning. I had a spiritual experience, too.
Yeah, a spiritual test?
No, spiritual experience.
Okay, let's hear your experience, son.
That night you called me and you were telling me about things I need to do towards my package and follow instructions. I listened to the CD. Interdimensional being, something like that.
What was the name of it? Walking with the Messiah?
No, it's interdimensional being.
Oh, that's a DVD. Yeah, I mean, where you could actually see them. Yeah, yeah.
And I took some gold and I lighted incense. Of course, I took my shower.
You created the right feng shui, the ambiance, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I was listening to it, and I laid down, and you came to me. I had a vision.
I told you I was coming. Yeah.
Yeah, you came to me, and in my vision, I seen you working on the phone, and you had on like a black torpedo with your hair long, curly, and wavy, a ponytail. So
that's right. I have it in a ponytail right now.
Yeah, and I woke up.
Yeah, that's right. That was a visitation. There was a period in class where a lot of people around me were having white lights flash in their left eye a lot bright. And then I had this period where I was coming and getting everybody and taking them up out their body to different places. So things are just, so now in the star moving, you know, and we moving more and more into shifting into 5D and above and creating your own reality, because I think that's more substantial. I think it's more relevant, especially when we time bar, because the last vortex opens up in 2023, so everybody's kind of time bar. We don't have time anymore. You know, we have to just get right to the point. Keep our nose to the grindstone right now and stay focused on that. And not miss, because you don't have to, you missed that one time, you missed everything. You follow me? But if you connect with that, then you have forever to do whatever you want to do. Past the flights of your highest imagination right now. See? So I'm happy for you, Kim. Bless you. And bless you all. You know, I love you all like play brothers and sisters. I love y'all more than you love yourself. And one day, you know, that's not just lip profession. That's truth I'm speaking. Let me repeat it. I said I love you all more than you love yourselves, because I know you all better than you know yourselves. You follow me? And oh, what a wonderful day when you discover the real you. You're going to be jubilant. You know, you'll be grinning so big, you can put a banana in your mouth sideways. I'm talking about you're going to be more than happy. you're gonna be ecstatic or just levitating, literally. But we need those donations, we need those testimonies, and we need y'all to post these posts up everywhere, every day, and everywhere, in every media outlet. And I appreciate you all for volunteering to help us to get the website straight. And Katat is good with that, so we'll go through with. Katat, was a good time to call you for that.
Yeah, get my number down. You want to take my number down? So
okay, I'll call him and give him your number. Katat, was a good day for me to call you for that, to get where you have at least 30 minutes. Katat in Florida. Well, he's there, son. You hear me?
Okay.
But I do love you all here, and bless your souls. All right. Yes. I love you too. I love you more. Peace out. Let's do this now.